Hello there, beautiful human being. My name is Alicia. Welcome to the Art of Well-Being with Alicia. Very good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. And today we are talking about power of visualization and manifestation. I know there is a lot of videos on that matter. Some of them are a little bit woo, some of them are not. I will give you my opinion on that and also what personally works for me, and hopefully it also gonna work for you. So without further ado, let's dive in. And let's start from what exactly is manifestation for me. So there have been some studies conducted in terms of how our brain works in terms of goal setting and which techniques working and which are less effective. So in order for our brain to actually start working in the direction of our goal, we have to sort of determine, well, what is it we're actually looking for. And also, if you're a visual person, it's very important because again, different people process information differently. So if you're a visual person, it's very good for you to have that visual image in your head of what are your goals, where do you really see yourself. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And I disagree with that statement that it's enough for you just to want something and then just sit there on the couch, grab a popcorn and wait for things to happen. Well, that's not gonna happen. That's just not how life works. There is definitely still gonna be a lot of hard work, but once you actually figure out what is that's important to you and why it's important to you, it can actually benefit you, and it helps to sort of rewire your brain in a way that it actually starts to focus on those things. So I'm gonna walk you quickly through how the process of manifestation looks for me and why I think it's effective, and let's start from there, okay? So the first thing I recommend to do is to sort of connect with yourself, and it can be through meditation, it can be through just simply deep breath, it can be by listening to your favorite song, it can be by taking a walk around the park, sitting on the bench, whatever tickles your fancy, whatever you find helpful in order to calm down and just like start listening to your inner self and just turn all of that noise and buzz in your head. So once you feel grounded and connected with yourself, I recommend you to ask yourself, so what are the areas in my life which I think need improvement? And for everyone it would be different, because even when we say that we want to focus on our health or we want to focus on our money, it's also very different for everyone, because you're coming from a very different state of mind than I do or anybody else does. And what being healthy means to me probably would be different from you, right? For example, for some people, getting into the healthy state of being would be losing some weight. For some people it would be gaining some weight, or it would be just in general having a consistent amount of physical activity on a regular basis, or start eating healthier. So whatever it is, try to ask yourself, what is that I want? And try not to be too judgmental and actually ask from the state of being you, not what people tell you to do, because that can be very confusing. And try to listen to your inner voice. And after that, I love to flip through old magazines and just sort of see what captures what gets my attention really. And don't try to overthinking, sort of like let go that question of where I want to be and just focus on your subconscious really. So even if it doesn't really make sense to you, but somehow it catches your attention, just get those scissors to work and cut it out and put it aside. And once you do 3, 5, 10, 15 magazines, whatever you feel like doing, whatever that flow is coming, I want you to take a look at that whole pile and start to sort it out. And you're gonna create those little piles by categories. And again, it doesn't have to be precise. You can always switch it to whatever way you like it. But I like to, to divide them in categories. I don't know, let's say health and wellness, home, relationships, money, vacation, trips, career. So whatever it is, put them aside, and then also notice which areas you have those cut out the most, because those are probably the areas where you need the majority of your attention, sort of to make those areas your priority. Because even if you think once you get into it that maybe your priority is to travel more, sometimes those type of exercise open a lot of very useful information about ourselves. At least it does to me. And I just discover things like, oh wow, that makes so much sense that actually my subconscious is worried about this particular area, rather than the one I initially thought it would. So it's very good self-discovery exercise also. And try to sort of, arrange them how you wanna put them on a paper, because we're gonna create a visual board. And a lot of people see visual board as something very fancy. There is nothing really fancy about it. It's all how you want to make it. The size of paper also can be very different. It can be very big, it can be very small. Sometimes I even make like monthly ones, which I do in a notebook, and like this is how it's gonna look for me. And I would make like a couple pages, right? So it can be picture, it can be text, it can be whatever, right? And again, as you can see, it's like sort of by categories. And this just helps me as I flip through it to sort of figure out, well, that's what I want to focus next month or next year or next 10 years, whatever, time period you want to make a vision board for. And once you start putting those things on your board or on your notepad, whatever it is, you can actually do digitally. There is, Pinterest boards, Canva apps. There's like so many tools nowadays where you can do it. But the important thing is that when you actually start assembling it, ask yourself, well, why those things are important to me? And it's very important to ask that, because sometimes you would discover that those things are not actually yours. They are they got into your life because somebody told you, or you saw it on TV, or like it's not really yours. So that can happen, and it's absolutely fine. But unless you can answer the question, so why those things are important to me, don't rush to put them on your board, because we want to make sure that, again, your board is 100% authentic and 100% yours. And then the next thing is to ask yourself, as you assemble in that board, what is the best scenario about those things? So, for example, it can be your dream home. What the most perfect dream home would look for you. Your dream job, what it's gonna entail, how many people are working with you, what field is this, what part of a town you're working, are you working for yourself, you're working for somebody else. And the more detailed you can get about it, and again, it doesn't even have to be on that board, but try to, as you assemble in it, to get into those details, because every time you're gonna be looking at that board, you're gonna remember all of those details. So next time you receive a job offer and you sort of have doubts, well, is it really for me? You play those details in your head and you ask yourself, well, does it align with what I really want, or do I want it because I don't know, it's a very famous company and everybody wants to work for? Well, maybe everybody wants to work, but you're not everybody, okay? And it's also important that you can sort of journal about it and write those things down. It's great if you can write it again in every detail, so you can always come back to it and have that reality check to sort of, well, I said that I want to have a great relationship and I met this person and somehow I don't feel comfortable. How so? And then you go and you have that list how you actually imagine your dream relationship look like, and something just don't align. And again, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly word to word to what you envisioned, and you are free to put as many details as you want, but try to sort of establish those core things. Like, what are the things you cannot compromise on? What are the things you really want? And make those a priority. Make those as statements, your values, whatever you want to call them. And that just gonna set your whole life in a completely new direction. And once you have your board, once you have all of the things written down, just let it go. Let it go into universe. Let it just sort of slide from your attention, because trust me, this amount of tremendous work, which seems like very easy, no biggie, but once you actually start thinking about it, once you actually start putting it into your mind, the amount of transformation you're gonna go through will be so tremendous that you will actually start noticing that things sort of attracting in your life, right? People gonna come, right? Opportunities will come. And again, I am not saying that you have to sit at home and do nothing. I'm just saying that you have to be very mindful of what you want and go get it. And that's pretty much all the message I have for you for today. So that's what been working for me, and that's how I see the power of manifestation and visualization for myself. Let me know in comments down below if you agree with that or disagree. That's absolutely fine. All opinions are welcome, and I will see you in my next videos. Make sure to subscribe because you don't want to miss what's coming next. I'm only getting started. And also don't forget to give me a big juicy thumbs up so I know that this information has been useful to you, and see you very soon. Bye bye.